Hi, and thanks for joining us for Forward Thinking. I'm Donna Morris, and in this series, I have the privilege of speaking with exceptional leaders about the future of work, technology, and leadership, guided by 4 focused questions. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Ellyn Shook, a leading advocate for people-first strategies and a visionary in shaping the future of work. Ellyn's perspective on skills, well-being, and leadership is both timely and absolutely inspiring. Ellyn, thank you so much for being here and making a trip to Bentonville.
Oh, Donna, thank you for having me. And you know, it's been a goal of mine to have the opportunity to see Bentonville. And what you've done here is amazing.
I've loved you being here, so I look forward to coming back as well. And so I have 4 questions, and hopefully we'll make it really fun. Ellyn, just to start, what skills do you believe will be most critical for workers to thrive in the future?
That is like the holy grail question, right? So I like to think about it around what we know today, because frankly, change is happening at such an incredible pace with exponential technologies and everything that's happening in the world that I really can't say for the future. But what I can say now to prepare workers for the future are a few things. One, I do think that all workers, regardless of what they do today, need to understand how to work with AI.
Right.
Work with agents.
Right.
Agents are there to be your friend, to help you do your job better. And I think the more we help people get comfortable working with agents in their work, the better off they'll be prepared for the future. Second, I think super important is either learning agility or intellectual curiosity, wanting to learn.
Right.
I think that's a skill.
Right.
And some people are born with it, but it's also something I believe we can teach. And I think it helps lay the foundation for what we don't exactly know is going to happen in the future. So learning. Next is problem solving. Like even at entry level jobs, customer service rep,
Right.
A technician, you need to be able to solve problems. And so you might be surprised by my answer, but those are the skills I think workers need to thrive in the future.
I love what you say about the fact that they're actually skills that can be learned, which is super, super important. And they might actually transcend other skills by virtue of the fact that AI can be your plus one.
Yes.
So those human skills can really, really be highly beneficial. Second, from your lens, you've been behind the Skills First initiative. Why do you think it's important?
Well, first of all, let me reiterate how critical it is to the future of opportunity for people and to the future for companies to continue to grow. I think why the initiative is so important is it enables us, organizations, to collaborate on a real societal issue. And when organizations collaborate, they can accelerate the pace of change. And we need to accelerate the pace of change. And so by bringing companies and ecosystem partners and local community partners together, you can really actually get down to nuts and bolts, not strategies and policies and programs, but really get to the nuts and bolts of what needs to happen. And that's why I think the initiative is so critical and so important. And for people, it's important because it gives people a common language to talk about their skills.
Right.
It helps them have agency over their opportunity.
Right.
Like, how do you talk about the fact that as a customer service representative, I have great problem-solving skills, I have great communication skills. How do I take that and do something different with it?
I love that.
And now that we have a common language, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary of Skills, it gives real agency to people to really accelerate their opportunities.
And I think agency directly ties to confidence for people, right? And their ability
security
to actually
for their families.
Totally
yes.
agree. Totally
Yes.
agree. You have extensive experience in upskilling workforces. You've done this and you've done it at considerable scale. What guidance do you have for leaders as we enter a time that transformation is going to be rapid and we have to upskill and reskill everyone given the fact that AI will reshape jobs?
Yeah. I like to think about it around 3 C's. First is care, and I mean self-care. I think the first thing leaders have to understand is that this isn't just about change, this is really about reinvention of their companies, reinvention of their workforces, and helping people reinvent their futures. And that's stressful. And I think leaders really need to recognize that, everything that we learned in the COVID era about taking care of ourselves needs to be doubled down on now. So that's the first one, care. The second one is compassion. I quickly called during COVID that compassion was the emerging leadership skill of our time. And I think, again, leaders need to put themselves in the shoes of their workers. This is super hard.
Right.
What workers are going through, really learning to work with agents, redefining every single job that they have.
Right.
It is something that isn't just happening to organizations and leaders, it's happening to our people, and to have compassion around that. And the final is communication. I heard Doug McMillan say that transparency is critical. And I believe that. I think transparency builds trust, and that is the most important currency to have.
I love that. Care, compassion, communication. I mean, timeless and so essential. I really, really love that. What guidance do you have for individuals who are balancing learning and leading? Now we're at this period of time where no one really probably has the answer. And you've sort of mentioned this around the care and the compassion, but how do you balance learning and leading at the same time?
I think through humility, honestly. I think the best leaders are very open and say that I'm learning too, and I can learn from you, and you can learn from me. And what that does is it brings down some barriers, and it gives teams or people in general really an understanding that it's not just them. And I think humility is the key to that answer.
I love that. Ellyn, thank you so very much for being here. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. And most important, I'm appreciative of your friendship. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Donna. Back at
Appreciate
you.